I want to take you on a journey today for you to understand not just how different inbound cosmic energies work and how people can experience them, but also the intercomplexities and ripple effects they can create that can run through your life in so many different ways. Through the analogies that come through, you will see exactly what can happen as a result of energy shifts and changes and how they can eventually bring you into a whole new paradigm. Okay, let's get started. The changing nature of energy. Everybody feels energy differently, and energy is always changing. So much different energy can come in from all sorts of different directions and sources, different types of cosmic energy like astrological and planetary alignments, moon and space weather, direct powerful light from source, the central sun, and so on. What is interesting about all of this is that it is constantly moving and changing. Sometimes it may actually feel like everything is standing still, you're in a pause mode, biding your time, or you are even stuck or feeling backwards. And at other times, everything is moving so fast in acceleration and active go mode that you can barely catch up with yourself. And then there's all sorts of variations in between. Whatever phase you are in, know that it does, is, and will change, as energy, like the seasons, is always in motion. When new energy comes in, it might be big or small, it could be an overriding, overarching, longer duration kind of blanket energy, like a template over the world. This type of energy will be in the general backdrop landscape for everyone. Then you have all sorts of smaller, medium level or shorter lasting energy that can come and go or intermingle in between. You can also have big energy that comes in all of a sudden and then zooms right out again. So all sorts of combinations are possible. Think of it as living in a kind of cosmic quantum soup. Your landscape is forever changing, and along with it your thoughts, moods and experiences depending on where you are at the time. Sometimes you might not really feel it much at all, and at other times it's like you can't escape it. This is where you are deep in the thick of it. You feel it body, mind and soul palpably, and it can be so incredibly overwhelming, especially as an empath or energy sensitive. You can experience energy uniquely according to you personally or collectively as a whole. These energies can also be in themes, archetypes, or display energetic qualities and give off effects such as changes in thoughts, moods, actions, behaviors, and feelings. Often there are subgroups of people all across the globe who are going through similar themes and effects together. A lot of this might be impacted by the type of soul they are, their own specific blueprint, mission, and grouping. How aligned or not they are with not just the energy, but also God source directly, and what frequency level they are currently in. Now I'm going to bring up a storm analogy and reveal how different people can get affected and deal with it. So let's say a cosmic energy comes in, such as an astrological opposition, that's kind of like a storm type energy, where people could get really disrupted and a whole lot of drama can happen. This is when people can really get set off. They are reactive, stressed out, negative, angry, anxious, or depressed. You know what this is like as you've experienced it yourself and you've seen it around you for sure, and it can be experienced quite intensely. Let's look at different scenarios of this storm type cosmic energy, how different people can get affected differently depending on where they are at. Firstly, let's say you're someone who has worked a lot on your stuff. You are mindful, soulful, in the mindset, already feeling quite high and in the light. You are minding your own business and walking the path. In this case, you might feel the storm energy just a little bit, or maybe even, if lucky, not at all. Let's now analogize the storm energy with an actual real severe weather storm, something full on like an extreme hurricane or tornado. Maybe you live on the outskirts and it's just a little bit windy. Let's give the example of a lady who lives on a farm. She just has to secure her property just to be sure as a precaution. She stays inside her cottage all cozy and warm, sipping a cup of tea by the fireside. The next day she goes out and everything is mostly fine. Maybe there's the odd fallen branch or stone out of place. She picks it all up and takes care of the animals who are just a little bit unsettled. She very easily rode the storm the night before, mostly unaffected. Then you have the people who are right in the thick of it. They're in the eye of the hurricane, in the heart of the danger zone. Energetically speaking, these are the people that experience all their stuff coming up. They have unprocessed issues, whatever that may be, such as relationship stresses, difficulties dealing with certain people, or something troubled within themselves, such as past wounds, karma, or even past life issues. They might have a lot of buried, unresolved trauma that they haven't wanted to see and deal with, and it all merges as a kind of ongoing drama. Their wounds get activated and projected onto other people's and their energy in return, and it all becomes a kind of murky soup or tangled up mess. These people will likely feel the cosmic energy quite intensely. Everything will get super chaotic, dramatic, like it's the end of the world. These people in the real life storm scenario will be the most hit by the hurricane. They might experience severe trauma, damage, and loss. They come out battered and bruised. Outside of this, you have all sorts of middle ground or in-between scenarios. So you might have some people where it gets a bit intense, but they're sort of okay and they kind of ride it through. This might be people who experience some random wind damage or inconvenience like a fallen tree or electrical blackout. Energetically speaking, these are the people who feel some energy bumps, have a few setbacks, but they're able to maintain somewhat positive spirits, even with some moments of lowered energy, but they spring back and generally do all right. And then we have other people types, such as lightworkers on the ground. These are the people that help out in the hurricane. They have their little light helmets on and without hesitation go to help people around them. Now keep in mind, a lightworker can be anyone, including just a nice person with a kind heart and common human decency. This could be, for example, the lady who was sipping her tea in the cottage. She counted her blessings and as soon as it was safe, headed into town to see if anyone needed help. You also have amongst all of this the real lightworkers. These are the spiritual people, the earth angels, who have that extra calling. They are the old souls that carry a special light and frequency. Are you one of those? They've come onto earth for a reason and to do the healing work on some level. You can probably feel the energy of it right now as I'm speaking. They're on a kind of special assignment and divine mission here on earth. And they carry a spark essence and that kind of divine energy of God. They go in and help on the field or add prayers, healing, and uplift others. They might intuitively follow their calling to enact angelic acts of kindness. This might be one-on-one or with a sense of community spirit. On top of this, you have other people who are regular folk. They might also wear hard hats and want to help and support on some level. And of course, you will get a variety of people who cope and be in different ways. There will always be the ones who are very much in victimhood, dwelling in negativity. Of course, that's something we can all do at times, but there are always the extra ones, the moaners, the drainers. They will sit and do nothing but complain, while others around them are running around helping or actually needing help or attention themselves. Now, I know you know a bunch of these people in your life, and I know that you know how their energy feels. Then you get the few that are completely narcissistic and self-serving. For example, it's the greedy governor of the town who knew about the storm in advance, didn't warn anyone, and didn't care. The night before, he ran off to a nearby city in his limousine or first-class jet paid by the state. He ate at a fancy restaurant and then spent a night in a penthouse suite. Then, after the hurricane, quite conveniently, and to make himself look really good, he called the media and did a bullshit speech. Maybe he downplayed the event to avoid malpractice or upplayed his part in help efforts. Either way, he sneakily finds a way to make himself look like a hero. Maybe 5 days later, he even goes to visit the town, makes sure he gets a glory photo opportunity, shaking hands with those in the front lines or families that were devastated and emergency workers who were there on the scene for all to see. And he selfishly controls all the money coming in for aid efforts, and he also controls the narrative of the situation. Then you have even darker forces who might control or even create a natural event like a storm. Yes, weather manipulation is real. There is a real science called geoengineering. Or perhaps, knowing about a strong cosmic energy in advance, they manipulate the situation or cunningly plan to create devastation, further devastation. They do things like manipulate media or the stock markets, which they own and control. They might create a negative event like a psychological operation, war attack, or send negative frequencies into the atmosphere for people to be even more mentally and behaviorally affected, completely unawares. Before you know it, more and more fights, shootings, and hospital emergencies arise as people react in a kind of sporadic outburst of craziness. Then you have the ones who use dark occult knowledge to take advantage or even manipulate energy based on their secret ancient understanding of things like numerology or astrology. They might also partake in dark magical or other practices. These are the fallen ones behind the scenes or hidden in plain sight, and that is a whole subject of its own. These are all effects of deliberate lower energy hitchhiking on the back of an already challenging cosmic energy, if that makes sense. So you have this kind of compounding effect. Interestingly, when 9/11 happened, there were powerful, intense astrological alignments that had the energy patterns of profound power clashes, struggle, sudden disruptions, conflict, and significant, impulsive, unexpected collective events. So any way you look at it, the energy signature ran through. Of course, as I said before, you have all different kinds of energies. I've just given you some really extreme examples to make it really clear. Everything is connected and it's all energy at the end of the day, and it can come and go in waves. What I want to show in all of this is that after every fall, though, there is a rise. After a tragedy, there's the resurrection. After the collapse, the rebuild, the rebirth, and so on. There is always a realignment and a higher meaning. Let's now move into the subject of interweaving of energies, because different energies can interweave and interplay amongst each other. So, for example, there might be a planetary alignment that's kind of like a baseline energy or a kind of backdrop energy. Let's say, for example, Jupiter is in its expansive phase for 6 months in the background. Okay, beautiful. But then for 3 months of that, Chiron, the wounded healer, is in Aries in retrograde. It's also a 7-year numerologically, so the overall backdrop is very spiritual, introverted, and reflective. So you find yourself thinking a lot one way or another and developing spiritually. You start practicing a healing modality and you prepare to take it to a whole new level and open up a side business as a healer. Everything feels wonderful. Then you suddenly go through a phase where all your past wounds come up. In a past life, you were actually a medicine woman and you got persecuted for knowing your naturopathic knowledge and healing ability. So now this persecution type energy comes up to your core and you don't even know it. Just when you started to create a website and draw clients into your healing work, all of a sudden, a bunch of things happen. A stranger randomly rubbishes you online. A previously trusted friend is jealous and changes the subject when you tell them your special news. And your auntie looks at you like you are a devil worshipper with 3 heads when you tell them about your natural healing gifts and utter excitement of moving into your life purpose. On top of this, at your regular job, a colleague accuses you of doing something you didn't do. See how it works? You're now absolutely devastated and embroiled in the deep wounds of persecution energy. These intense and depressing thoughts and feelings circle around you in your mind and body and begin to suffocate you into an oblivion of self-deprecation, doubt, and extreme feelings of unworthiness. Suddenly, you are catapulted into pits of despair. You just feel like you can't do your work at all or even communicate your truth on any level. You're not aware of this past life, and so you find yourself thinking, what's wrong with me? Why am I such a bloody loser? You're completely down in the dumps, don't believe in yourself, completely question your dreams and ability. You start cancelling clients in a panic of self-sabotage, or as it happens, because of all the intermingling energy, they end up cancelling on you. What the heck just happened? Not that long ago, you were feeling excited, expansive, and uber soul connected, and then whoosh, the rug was pulled from right under you. In the midst of all of this, let's say there is a supermoon and Mercury is in retrograde. Great, just what you need. Your computer completely fucks up when you're trying to push through and build your healing website. You get all these miscommunication emails and you're just not moving ahead. Now, Pluto and Saturn butt heads in the sky just to add to all the gunk, and there's this real doom and gloom heavy energy. You sink into your lowest pits of despair and have a dark, deep night of the soul that lasts for months. You recluse, don't see anyone, don't post about your business, don't even have a shower half the time, and just feel the doom and gloom of it all by yourself. And because you are actually a caring, empathic soul in truth, you feel the energy from everyone else around you. You deeply question why you are even doing this. You tell yourself that you're a stupid idiot. You suffer financial troubles and you and the world feels like it's completely collapsing all around you. Then eventually this particular assortment of energy moves on and a nice new alignment clicks into place, such as Venus and sextile. And now you start to feel the love energy. On top of this, there are spikes in the Schumann resonance, which is the measurable heartbeat of earth energy, meaning that now this higher frequency energy is coming onto earth. You now radiate in a new glowing energy. You start to feel alive and inspired to post again about your healing work. Spontaneously while out in a moment of divine intervention, you bump into a stranger and intuitively feel their energy. You end up delivering a message from spirit and you recognize that they need healing. You offer them a kind word and as you're talking, something incredible happens. They recognize your light. You are entirely uplifted from this whole experience. Your vibration is high and you feel on top of the world. Out of the goodness of your heart, you invite this person to your home for a free healing session. You lift them up, pull them out of their misery, and they're so incredibly grateful. You can feel it in your heart. 3 days later, they have referred several clients to you. People keep calling you, leaving messages, saying they heard about you and would love to book you in. They say you're highly recommended. And for each of these people, 3 more become your clients. And all these people will continue to see you when the time is right over time for the rest of your life doing this work. And on it goes from there, all from the sacred gift of being who you are, shining your light and trusting in faith no matter how dark and grim it was not too long before. Even if you lost your faith, it is rebirthed again. An incredible shift happened, and within that your gift was finally revealed in its truest form and put into work in a way that aligned even higher and bigger than ever before. Because you went so down, now you are so up, and you have moved along on your soul's path. From that one experience of you helping one person, now so many more people, and might I add the right people, sense and appreciate your light. And that has a ripple effect. They see you for who you are and the gifts you share. These are the right people for you. Now you are in a positive momentum of your true soul's calling, and a beautiful snowball effect of magic and healing ensues. As you have worked through your wounding, you have leveled up in your wisdom and begin to remember and rebirth your ancient medicine woman lineage with the assistance of the angels, your spiritual team, in new and inspiring ways. Now, because energies keep changing, it is important to note that a few snakes might slither on by, and you might still have some experiences of difficult people come through your work or in your life. And so it does keep shifting and changing, but you learn and grow in the process and become bigger and better and more aware and who you are, because you have showed up as yourself in your soul's light and worked mindfully through it all. The core message in all of this is to trust and believe in yourself. No matter all the hard times, be conscious of the energies within and around you. Do the spiritual work and be kind on yourself when it all seems to fall flat, because you will always rise up again. Let's talk now about the added effects of the energy of other people. Often, because of the constant variations in energy, it can all intermingle. Keep in mind also that amongst all the cosmic energy coming at you that you're integrating, you're also experiencing the energy of other people around you or in the collective. Doesn't matter how close or far away they are. And what you feel is how they are coping. And that, as empaths or energy sensitives, is what often stuffs you up. Even if we are generally aware, well-meaning, and start off on the right track, you can always plummet down again because of the energy of people. So to take the storm analogy again, in the periods of time when there's that more excessive, intense, storm-like energy sweeping in, if you're someone who's trying to calm your thoughts, do your inner work and try your best, you've got your little hard hat on with your glowing light and you're trying to get through it all. In this scenario, let's say you know there's an upcoming energy. You know that stuff will most likely come up for you to work through and heal. You might even know what that is in advance, as you are already receiving intuitive hits and you just brace yourself for it. You might be as positive as you can and tell yourself you will get through, to be brave and be ready to acknowledge what comes up. You try not to get dragged too much under, but despite all your best efforts, you actually end up getting sucked in and pulled down, not by the cosmic energy directly this time, but the energy of other people. Maybe you make a call to a company, for example, and the person on the phone is really bitchy with you. They're curt and rude, and you just feel their energy intensely. Then your husband comes home all shitty from his day at work and an argument ensues. After that, an old energy vampire friend keeps calling and bugging you and telling you all their problems and dramas and sends you never-ending long texts all about themselves without even asking how you are. You catch the drift. You are doing your mindful best, but you empathically feel the energy of all those people in the intensity who are acting out in the chaos and drama. And these offshoot effects from these people with their messed up vibes is coming at you, and you just feel it. And this lower energy, if you let it, has the power to pile up and knock you down and off your core. And before you know it, you're dragged down to the lowest depths, maybe even lower than some of these people to start with, because you are unwittingly taking it all on, including the entire energy of the world and cosmos, and it all becomes too much. You now also deal with sudden psychic attacks and feel the energy vampire's moods to such a core level, even if you're not speaking to them, that you can become instantly depressed, angry, anxious, and just can't seem to pick yourself up. You now feel heavy, burdened, irritated, achy, and you literally need to be in bed for weeks on end. You end up walking around the house talking to yourself, saying, "Great, thanks, that's exactly what I was trying to avoid. Now I'm friggin' a complete and utter basket case mess and feel like I can't dig myself out of the hole." Does this sound familiar? And so now, with all this doom and gloom, you can also attract more uncomfortable situations and added energy, because there is a kind of negative magnetic snowball effect and a catastrophic build-up and pile-up of toxic energy. This all has a further ripple effect on your family, household, finances and life, and everything seems to suddenly send you spiraling downwards into dramatic negative momentum. Or if you're just a little bit weighed down, you might just carry some extra foreign negative energy, feel a bit off, clogged up in the chakras and a bit out of sorts, like you're not being your true self. So what can we learn from all of this? The message is to look after yourself best you can and just be aware and conscious on whatever level you can muster. You're going to have days where you do such a great job at it, and other days where it's a complete flop and you just can't muster, let alone master the energy or cope, and that's okay. So long as you're aware that this is how it all goes and that we're all going through these kinds of reoccurring cosmic cycles and energy waves one way or another, you're just doing the best you can. The difference between you and the regular person is that you are both self and outer aware, and that makes all the difference. The more you become aware of incoming energy, your own energy and that of others, and learn how to protect, ground and clear yourself, the more consciously you rise yourself up again to soul level when the time comes in due course. And you'll be so much better for it. Not only will you cope better and develop your intuition, but you'll also be advancing in your evolution as a soul here on earth. And that's exactly what you came here to do. At a higher level, these energy shifts are invitations to awaken, transform and embody your highest potential as a soul here on earth. By embracing the at times powerful gifts, challenges, and lessons, you embark on a conscious path towards growth, empowerment, and alignment with your higher, truer self. The more you embrace the higher teachings of these energy changes, the more you learn to navigate the ever-changing currents with grace, resilience, and an open heart. As you align yourself more with the current flow of energy, you become an active rather than sleepy participant of this reality and non-accidental grand sympathy of creation. Through the ebbs and flows, the storms and the calms, you learn the art of surrender and trust. You surrender to the inherent wisdom of the universe, trusting that every challenge carries within it the seeds of growth and rebirth. You cultivate resilience, drawing strength from the knowledge that you are never alone on this journey. You are interconnected, supported, and guided by the unseen forces and supportive beings that dance alongside with you. As you navigate the currents of transformation and embrace the power of the present moment where the past dissolves and the future is yet to unfold, in this sacred space, within the truth of the infinite now, you find the keys to unlock your truest, fullest potential. Here you open up doorways where you can expand yourself beyond the seeming limits of the physical world, and you embody more of who you truly are, and that is the gift of the cosmos and why you are even here to begin with.